We are coming to you from the beautiful brand new Oasis Lanes in El Paso, Texas. Our live coverage of the PBA Tour continues here on ESPN. It's the PBA El Paso Classic. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson. We have 4 finalists left, and they are ready to roll.
A 6-time PBA titleist. Today he celebrates his 31st birthday, making his first ESPN television finals appearance this season. From Thousand Oaks, California, Robert Smith.
They don't call him Maximum Bob for nothing. He brings his high-octane game and emotions with every shot. His last 2 titles came on this very same oil pattern.
From Buffalo, New York, he was a 4-time college All-American. The 2000 PBA Rookie of the Year. He makes his 2nd career television appearance today. Joe Ciccone.
Joe has tried to throw the ball many different ways in his 6-year career on the PBA Tour. Today, he will hook it to try and fulfill a lifelong dream, winning a PBA title.
The 1998 PBA Rookie of the Year. He has 5 career titles. He threw not 1, but 2 perfect games this week. From Flower Mound, Texas, Chris Barnes.
In addition to his 2 300s, Chris did something this week that's never been done in the history of the PBA Tour. He picked up both the Big 4 and the 710 split. Does he have enough left in his bag of tricks to win today?
Yes! This week is the
From Jackson, New Jersey, a PBA Hall of Famer with 29 career titles. Good for 5th on the all-time win list. He finished 2nd last week at the PBA Geico Open. Parker Bohn III.
Parker's proving the changes he's made in his game have gotten him back on track. This left-handed locomotive is looking to steamroll himself to his 30th title.
These are your finalists for the PBA El Paso Classic.
This incredible 40-lane facility just opened this past November. A fantastic setting for the players, the fans, and this is the 11th all-time PBA event to come to El Paso, Texas. Randy, how about the matchups?
Got it, Dave. Semi-final number 1 pits fireballer Robert Smith, who looks for his first win of the season, and the crafty Joe Ciccone, who took the last spot in qualifying and parlayed it into a TV Finals appearance. We'll see which hand is dominant in semi-final number 2. Left-hander Parker Bohn III looks to improve on last week's 2nd place finish. And the righty, Chris Barnes, looks to get back in the win column after a 30-event drought.
Randy, let's start with Joe Ciccone. Joe, last year, your first ever career TV show in Tucson, you said at the end of the warm-ups, the nerves settled for you. How are your nerves right now?
A little bit. The lanes are a little different today, so I'm feeling a little bit more nerves to try to figure them out, but hopefully we'll work through it and get it done.
Good luck going for your first title. Thank you, Randy. Joe Ciccone. Happy birthday to Robert Smith. 31 years old today. Congratulations on that. Last night, Robert, you told us the mechanics are there, your ability is there. The mental focus this season hasn't been. Is the mental focus there right now for you?
You know, I'm just going to go out and do what I do best. I throw the ball, just make sure I pay attention, commit to what I'm going to do, and then, you know what, if they fall, great. If they don't, you know, so be it, and I hope Joe works out for him to get his first title on the next one. But right now, I'm going to go out there and give my best, and hopefully we'll get to match 2.
Good luck, birthday boy. First ever TV matchup, Randy Peterson, Robert Smith, Joe Ciccone.
Lots of money, almost $250,000 prize fund. Total purse, first place $40,000, second $20,000.
All right, right
now. The 1-year exemption for the 2005-2006 season with the win. Valuable points on the line, and judging by that interview, Robert Smith looks like he's got his emotions intact. Joe Ciccone looks a little bit uneasy.
Joe had the sweat going in the warm-ups, and he told us last night that could be a factor for him. We'll see. Maximum Bob. Oh, he's got help on the 10 to begin his day. As Robert Smith, 31 years old today, strikes on his first shot.
Yeah, watch the birthday boy send the head pin to the sidewall. The head pin's going to go. Sidewall come across and do its best "he hate me" imitation on the 10 pin.
So Joe Ciccone, 29 years old from Buffalo, but That's just been his hometown since he started college. Actually born and raised in Skaneateles, New York. Good ball for Joe. That is a Finger Lake community near Syracuse. And Joe and I go way back, Reds. We'll talk about leading up to the Babe Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Yes, you do. The only thing that really stands out is right here. Spare conversion percentages. If this becomes a spare shooting contest, advantage Joe Ciccone. But guess what? The guy's averaged 240s, 250s, high scores all week. It's not going to come down to a spare shooting contest.
Barely made it in, folks. Last to qualify in the round of 32. And Bohn Welly told us, Peter Hernandez, another PBA bowler, said, well, you might just make it. Joe said, I might make it. I hope so. Another good shot for Joe C.
Joe C got this ball a little left, but this week we had mistake area on the lanes. That ball holds line, ends up dead flush.
We know Joe very well. He works as our scoreboard operator when he's not on TV. This is just his second career show, so Joe has great knowledge of the TV side of it as well. Going back to Robert Smith.
Using two different balls. Earlier rolling ball in the left lane. That ball in the right lane, Dave, a much cleaner, longer type of bowling ball.
12-4 match play record, Randy, from the round of 32 on. Remember, folks, second event now that our second half of the season has started. Round of 64, 2 7-game blocks.
Eventually, I'm going to get a little square on this one.
He's talking to himself. That round of 8 match, Dennis Horan Jr.
All right, good pitch.
Robert struck in 8 of the first 9 frames in Game 6 after a 4-bagger in Game 5 to help wrap that up over fellow Southern Californian Dennis Horan from Temecula. Robert from Thousand Oaks, big UCLA fan. Lane level look at it. 10 down the pin again for Robert Smith.
And one of the advantages for Robert Smith on this pattern, because of all of the revs, as you see how close he comes to the edge of the lane, is that with all those revolutions and power, his ball, if it hits anywhere in the 1-3, it's usually a strike.
Last few years, Robert known as the fastest thrower on tour. He and Eugene McCune right up there. Robert has thrown it as much as 34 miles an hour. And Joe Ciccone, another strike and a perfect start for Inch. We are even. 238.45 average for Joey. Got by Mika Koivuniemi, last year's Player of the Year, and last week's winner in Mesa. 4 games, had the front 7, did Joe, in that round of 8 match in Game 1 against Mika. Overcame a couple of gutter balls. He had 3 gutter balls total in those 3 rounds. But beat some pretty good talent in Norm Duke, Mika, Justin Romick too.
Well, when we get into our oil pattern, I'll show you why he threw a couple of balls in the channel, but because of the way that the lanes are oiled and dressed this week, you have to play the outside part of the lane.
And Joe Ciccone is doing just that. He is going so far right with that ball.
Well, this shot here was a lot further right than the last time he was up on the left lane rather. You could see there is a little bit of help out there. The key this week, though, was not getting to the pocket. It was striking when you got there. And thus far, our guys are perfect through 3.5, 4 frames.
Randy and I will break down the cheetah oil pattern and show you why with the oil so advantageous for big numbers. We're going to see potential perfect games today. All even.
Come on.
4 strikes for each. Let's check in the road to the PBA Denny's World Championship. Denny's, the official family restaurant of the PBA Tour. Chris Barnes and Parker Bohn III, 2 of our competitors today, are in the top 10. And we will see them coming up in a great semifinal matchup. Barnes going for his 6th title. Parker Bohn trying to get to 30. He is 5th all time. Trying to catch up with Pete Weber at number 4, but he's got a few events to get there. That'll be exciting. This finish will also be thrilling. All even. First non-strike of the match.
Just told you not to grab it, and you grabbed it again.
A 4-pin for Robert Smith.
Grabs it at the bottom and then gets it right quick. And when that happens, the ball's going to jump and overhook. Robert getting a nice break, avoiding the split, only leaving a 4-pin.
What's this, a spare ball? First time we've seen it today, right? Single pin numbers for Maximum Bob. Let's mix the couple, which is surprising.
This is going to be really fast.
That's heat, folks. He says in our meeting with him last night that he throws that spare ball about 27 miles an hour when he really lets loose on it. He's not happy. Trying to take advantages, Joe Ciccone. Joe in Syracuse, New York. WSTM was our statistician, scorekeeper. For shows that I got to broadcast with Marty Pirano, a PBA star in his day from Syracuse. First non-strike for Joe. So he's an absolute historian of the game, Joe Ciccone.
And this is the difference between a guy with multiple titles and a guy looking for his first. You give a guy an opening, the champions tend to take advantage of that. And that's something that Joe has to work through. He has to learn that. But keep in mind that Joe Ciccone, his first time on television last year on this very same oil pattern, well, 255.
Joe has an incredible collection of videotapes talking about his role as our really residential PBA historian. 1991 to present day. He's in every single TV show. He's got some from the 50s and 60s, some Earl Anthony and Dick Weber classics. He loves the game and would love to get his first career win here today in El Paso, Texas. When Randy and I return, we will break down the cheetah pattern and talk about why we'll see such big numbers and conclude this exciting semifinal. Who advances to the final? Ciccone or Smith? We find out when we return to West Texas.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
Ah, yes, the sultry tones of Randy Tex Peterson. A CD will be available on his website. Do me a favor, partner, keep your day job.
Okay.
From all of us on the ESPN crew.
Okay, you
please.
got it.
That was interesting. So we're back here, second event of the second half of our season, and we know we'll have big numbers. We will not have a 300 game with Joe Ciccone today and Robert Smith. We saw that, but it's possible down the road with our other semifinalists and into the final.
Ton of 300 games this week because of the oil pattern. We'll get to that in a second. You know, the most exciting thing to ever see on a bowling telecast is a perfect game. That's why they call it perfect. We've only had 16 of them in the history of the PBA. I think we have a great shot at having one today.
14 different bowlers, folks, able to roll a 300 game, including 12 different 300 games in the round of 64, those two qualifying blocks, leading us now to the cheetah oil pattern crocodile, Randy.
Thank you, Dave. The cheetah pattern. 35 feet is our shortest pattern that we use. And when it goes short, that equals back end down the lane. Also, we had friction, dry boards on the edges. That's why you see the players playing out there. Two schools of thought. You can either go up it or you can try to hook it. Get that ball in that friction zone, get it to turn up, and hit the 1-3 as hard as you can.
Just 4 shy of the all-time record for perfect games in a tournament. That went back to 1995, 24 in Peoria, Illinois. 5 bowlers, including Chris Barnes, we'll see against Parker Bohn III in the next semifinal, had multiple 300 games this week. Big numbers on the cheetah pattern. Tight match here. Flirting with the edge of the channel is Robert Smith.
A lot better when you don't grab it, Robert.
Or he throws the ball hard.
Grab it, ball good. Don't grab it, ball
Take a look at here, Dave. This is in practice. Robert Smith throwing a plastic ball, and what he's doing is he's actually trying to push oil down the lane to create some hold area.
Strike percentage numbers for each. Way up there. Today's match. Also saw in practice the bowlers just lightly rolling spare balls down too to try to create that path in the oil. Something you don't see very often. So very deliberate in trying to get themselves the perfect path to the pocket on the cheetah pattern.
The thing you have to remember is that the strike balls that these guys are using are so strong, they actually absorb oil off the lane. The plastic balls do not. They actually carry the oil down the lane.
Max numbers are way up there. Speaking of a high number, his lone TV show, a loss last year. Tucson, Arizona, Brian Smith. Joe Ciccone strikes there. Lost at 268, 255. And that was the best of 9 bowlers last year, making their debut, highest score in the tour exemption qualifications. Joe right now is not on that list. Qualified last year on points. And told us very clearly last night, Randy, that he's not looking at the point list. He didn't last year. Was able to sneak in. He's not going to do it this season either. He wants to just focus on his bowling.
I think it's a good idea. You don't want to be distracted and look at stuff that you really have no control of unless you get out there and control your own destiny like Joe's trying to do right there.
Come on.
The 2000 PBA Rookie of the Year, who that year led all the rookies in average cashes, match play appearances, and earnings, is trying to earn himself $40,000 with a win here today. Great pin action from Joe. C. Joe talked about a clear picture heading into the show, a game plan he hasn't had in the past. As we talked about with Robert, pre-match interview, it's all about focus in the big moments. Who's going to have the greater focus down on a stretch run here? All even. What a match. Maybe the action will be just as exciting next week in Dallas. Heading north through Texas for the finals of the Dallas Open. Coverage starts at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. on the West Coast, only here on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Chris Barnes, basically at home center. We'll see Chris later and tell you about his wife, Linda, who did very well at that Don Carter Lanes West Center in Dallas. Chris won there a couple years ago.
All tied up heading into the 9th and 10th frame.
Big goal for Robert Smith, second half of the year. He still thinks he can attain Player of the Year honors, win a couple of tournaments, have a good appearance at the 3 remaining majors. This is a step toward that. Exploding through the rack.
Well, Robert Smith has a huge following, including some friends all the way in Hawaii. Jerome Furukawa is having a party as we speak, watching his friend Robert Smith from about, how many miles away is Hawaii, Dave?
Got to be about 4,000 or 5,000.
It's a lot.
Yeah, big ocean. Back to Joe. Has to hurry.
Look out.
Hoping for help on the 10 pin. He won't get it. Needed a strike there to tie it back up.
Situation now is simple. With this spare conversion, Joe Ciccone must strike out and hope that Robert Smith doesn't strike on his first ball. Joe Ciccone makes a spare here. He strikes out. He shoots 258. Robert Smith goes 9 spare, strike. He shoots 258.
10 pin for Joe, who has never won a tournament in 89 career events.
No freebies here, no freebies. Come on. Freebies.
You're thinking roll off. Joe had one. Round of 16, Justin Romick. And a 5-game win. In game 1, Romick won the roll off and went to multiple balls, 1917. So Joe's been there recently. And a 1 and 2 career roll off record so far. Needs it. 10 pin again for Joe Ciccone. His parents,
Right.
Connie and Jim, watching back
That doesn't
home.
count.
Ball return must have hit that 10 pin. That's what Joe was talking about. And he was hoping, hey, why don't we count all those?
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, no.
2 pretty bad shots there, Joe.
Yeah. 2 weak 10s on this pattern. Joe's going to shoot 240 if he makes this. Spare here and a strike. He'll shoot 247. Robert Smith would need a mark in the 10th frame to advance.
Things looking very good for Smith. He's got a 4-bagger going right now, heading into his 10th frame. Joe wanted to make sure he had a shout out to Marty Perano, the former PBA star back home. Syracuse, New York, watching today where Joe grew up. rooting on our former stats boy. And he was just a little kid. It's amazing to see how far Joe's come over the years.
That's a good one.
Great finish for Joe Ciccone.
Right now, Joe's TV average in his last 2 games bowled on television is over 250. It's pretty good.
255, as we mentioned, against Brian Smith last year, his only TV appearance. 247 today.
All right, Rob, one time.
Just a mark. That's all the birthday boy needs.
Let's do it.
Robert Smith has changed his grip. He used to use the Sarge Easter.
There's a phone going off.
That's not good. All right, regroup, go through your pre-shot routine again. Like I was saying, Dave, he has gone back to a conventional fingertip grip. Remember, he used to use the Sarge Easter, which cut down on his rev rate. He's learned to control his rev rate with just a conventional fingertip grip.
Got that baseball mentality, talking about a pitch. Well, he wants to strike right down the middle here. Just needs a mark.
That doesn't happen.
Watch the 6 pin. The second pin to the right goes to the sidewall. Just gives the 10 a little nudge. Happy birthday, brother.
A little tap on number 10. What a reaction for Robert Smith. He's bidding for a 7th career title today. And he'll have a chance. It won't matter. He's wrapped up a semifinal win.
Got one more to go.
Chris Barnes, Parker Bohn III await
Not done yet.
Robert Smith.
Step 1.
And the quest will continue for Joe Ciccone, bidding for his first ever title. A mark for Robert. And he is through to the final, where he's been brilliant when he gets there.
Get out of here.
16-11 all time on TV. Trying to become 7-3 in finals is Robert Smith. What in the world is going on here? Well, wait until you see what happens in this week's Miller High Life PBA Skills Challenge between Mika Koivuniemi and Brad Angelo. This thing just keeps on getting wackier, folks. Stick around for a real treat. First semifinal, Robert Smith knocks out Joe Ciccone 268-247. And Robert loves to make finals. He's won his last 4 title matches. So Parker Bohn III, Chris Barnes await Robert Smith. Miller High Life PBA Skills Challenge, round of 16 up to the final match. Last year's PBA points champion Brad Angelo battles player of the year Mika Koivuniemi for the final spot in the round of 8.
Brad Angelo. Mika Koivuniemi.
You look like Ivan Drago.
They have to roll in the ball. Okay, here we go.
All right.
You need to hit the head spin, you need to have small speed, you need to have the roll in the ball.
Well, your eyes do not deceive you, folks. Mika Koivuniemi will try to make a 45-pin strike. Can it be?
I gave this a 7.8 Randy rating. Nicely done. The key here, Dave, ball speed, roll, and you got to hit the pocket.
All 45 down in the pit from Mika Koivuniemi. Now Angelo must repeat that feat. Good luck, Brad.
Go. Let me hear it.
So Brad Angelo must make the same strike to stay out of a 1-0 hole. This is a serious challenge. Can it be? Yeah, down goes number 45. Incredible shot as Angelo repeats the feat.
I told you have to hit the pocket, something Brad knows a lot about.
Well, Brad looks to keep the momentum going. He'll attempt to pick up the 5-6-7 split. Randy giving this a rating of 7.5.
Needs to get the ball between the 5 and the 6, slide the 5 over into the 7. Perfect!
Outstanding shot, Brad Angelo. Now Mika's got to cover the same split to keep the match even. Otherwise, Angelo's got his first strike. Chops the pin. That means Brad Angelo has a 1-0 lead, needs 3 strikes for the victory.
Gotta hit the head pin now.
Gotta hit the head pin. All right, ready?
Brad will try to hit the head pin, knock down as many pins as possible out of a towel. And he's got 9 pins down. We saw Norm Duke do that in Denver in a real match, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw him strike too. He's pretty good with that towel.
So Mika needs at least 9. Ew, that is a gutter ball. And 2 strikes for Brad Angelo up 2-0. He needs 3 strikes for a win.
This is easy. Just make a spray of 10 pin. It's nothing. Especially off of this side. Right, Brad?
This is very tough. I've only kept it on the lane like twice in my life, doing it through my legs.
7-5 rating. Hey, between the legs. Looks like a basketball move. Got it! Number 10 goes down. Spectacular shot.
Mika made that look easy. Good luck, Brad.
All right, 2-1. That's okay. That's okay. There's a little story behind this. When I was a little kid, my dad was pretty well known in the Northeast, and he did trick shots exhibitions with Andy Verapapa and guys like that, Carmen Salvino and Dick Weber and those guys. But and he shared this with me, and I just never forgot it throughout my whole life. So it was kind of neat that I get a chance to try it now. So, Dad, hopefully we clinch it with this one here. All right.
A shot with a little more meaning for Brad Angelo. Western New York roots.
One of those rare shots where a bowler tries to hit no pins. He does it perfectly.
Now Mika down to his last gasp here. Hits any pins. Brad is a winner and advances to the round of 8. Oh no, Mika, you were supposed to get no pins. So Brad Angelo takes it. So Brad Angelo is through to the round of 8. Tony Reyes and hometown hero Chris Barnes next week in Dallas. We've got more coming up. Chris Barnes is next up against Parker Bohn III, our second semifinal. All these bowlers into the round of 8. Miller High Life PBA Skills Challenge vying for $20,000, the first place prize. Michael Howden Jr., Parker Bohn III still alive. Same goes for Angelo and BB Brian Voss. Head to head, Parker Bohn III is out trouble with Chris Barnes, 1-3. We'll see what happens. Exciting semifinal action to come from El Paso. Well, hard luck again for Joe Ciccone, who had his second straight 268 thrown at him. His 2 TV appearances, Brian Smith last year, Robert Smith, no relation, this year. Barnes, Bohn III are next up, and they're joined now by Randy.
Thanks, Dave. Parker Bohn, we talked a little bit last week about the changes you've made in your physical game. To me, it looked like you were lacking just a little bit of confidence, but now with back-to-back shows, how's your confidence today?
Confidence is escalating as we speak. I got the right Brunswick equipment, taking my confidence a long, long way, and today's the day.
Thanks, Parker. Good luck. A guy certainly never lacking in confidence, Chris Barnes. Chris, a couple 300 games this week, and then some PBA history. You made the 7-10 split and the Big Four in the same tournament. It's never been done before. What's going on?
Well, it's been a long time since anybody's done all that, but it's been a while since I won, too. So my wife won the National Amateur Championship this weekend. It's been a great week already, and we're going to build on that.
Great, Chris. Thanks. Congratulations to your wife, Linda. Keep in mind, Rhino, Chris Barnes has beat 3 left-handers to get to this point today. He needs to get by 1 more to have a shot at winning this tournament.
Amazing, Randy, to think that he's gone through Eric Forkel, Jason Couch, Patrick Allen, all southpaws. And now another left-hander stands in the way of Chris Barnes. It's Parker Bohn III, the Hall of Famer with 29 career titles, 20 years on the PBA Tour. And there's Leslie. Justin there as well. He's 20 months old. Watching Daddy in action. And a big shot from Parker Bohn III. Speaking of families, while I have a second, I want to mention a very happy birthday to Emma Sue Ryan, my 10-year-old on Friday. Amelia K. Ryan turns 6 tomorrow. Happy birthday, girls.
I want to come to the party.
You're invited.
Thanks, buddy.
You always are.
Happy birthday to both of your girls.
Chris Barnes. Help bomb number 10.
Pretty tight matchup all the way around. A classic Hall of Fame style matchup. This is really the only number that jumps out if you look at spare conversion percentage. But guess what? It's not going to come down to that. This is going to be a strike fest.
Turning to a Mika Koivuniemi here. Lefty's worth nightmare.
Left-hander was nightmare.
Another for Barnes.
This is the first strike that Chris Barnes threw. We call this the Tomahawk 10. The 6 goes to the side while it leans on the 10, and that turned that into a double instead of spare strike.
So little Justin, 20 months old, is watching Dad, Parker Bohn III, in action. Brandon, 5 months old, is behind the scenes today. Oh, Parker avoids a deadly split and gets just the 10-pin up.
Parker. That was a huge break. You know, in this pattern all week long, the first one that missed usually lost. Parker avoids the open frame with a conversion on the 10-pin and a nice break.
Parker has been red hot coming into this TV final appearance. Takes care of the 10-pin. 10 straight game wins. He beat Patrick Healy Jr. in 7 after trailing in that round of 32 match, 3-2, and look out. Walter Ray Williams Jr., fellow Hall of Famer, Michael Fagan, go down in straight 4-game sweeps into 10 straight games. Parker averaging 263.30. I mean, talk about red hot.
266 he averaged in those sweeps.
Man, big numbers on the cheetah pattern. Talked about the 10 games in a row with shots like that. Parker Bohn III.
Yeah, to me, that shot there, David, looked like his hand stayed up the back of the ball more so than the shot that went high. And what happens when your hand stays up the back, you got all that friction, the move in the back part of the lane is more subtle. Watch his hand stay up underneath. See this? Now watch the back end reaction, nice and smooth. When your hand rotates around the side early, that creates a real violent reaction in the back part of the lane.
Now a resident of the Dallas Metroplex, originally from Topeka, Kansas, Chris Barnes, and finishing up the story about his wife, Linda, Friday in Dallas, won her 2nd career USA National Amateur Bowling title, an 8-time member of Team USA, who captured her first title back in '95. Chris got a text message that Linda had won while he was competing in the round of 16 here in El Paso. Takes care of the 7.
Yeah. Nice frame.
247.76 average. All left-handers have gone down. The second 300 game came against Couch, averaged 271 in that match. Came in game 2.
271.
He had a 300 game against Eric Forkel in game 4 of the round of 16 match. He has just been blitzing the pins all week.
Dave, I'm sorry to chuckle while you're saying about 271. He averaged 271. He threw a lot of shots just like this.
Told us last night, Chris did, very committed to his shots, 100%. He knows he has multiple game plans coming in, but will not outthink himself. Guaranteed that of today's appearance. Parker Bohn, good pin action himself. Only lost at the French to Gustavo Kuerten, who has won that event 3 times, so he is a favorite coming in.
I wonder how those tennis players would do on the cheetah pattern.
Oh, late help on number 9. Down she goes.
Well, it looks like Parker Bohn stole Chris Barnes' bag of tricks. Check this out. I mean, this should have been a bucket. Instead, he gets this great pin action and caves the 9 in. Hurry, ball, hurry, carry. Oh, my. Brilliant.
Hall of Famer in a two-time player of the year, 99 and 02. Parker trying to get back to that form. 51 events since his last win in Virginia Beach, Virginia, 2002, the Battle of Little Creek. Chris Barnes has gone 30 without a win to begin last season, the Japan Cup. That was his last victory. He also won in 2003 at the Days in Dallas Open over Parker Bohn III in the final.
Averaged 255 in match play, second only to Parker Bohn III. This guy knows how to strike, but he's also really, really good on just about anything we bowl on out here on tour.
Looking for the turkey ball.
Yes.
Has it?
Yes. Yes.
What a match we've got here. Barnes by 9, second semifinal. Who joins Robert Smith in the final? We'll find out in El Paso, Texas. El Paso is the home of Fort Bliss, a major U.S. Army base. Some of the soldiers spent their week here at Oasis Lanes.
I grew up watching these guys on TV, so I'm pretty excited about this opportunity I have. As a matter of fact, I extended an extra week just so I can participate in this event.
Oh, this is a fabulous break for a lot of these soldiers. We've got several of these soldiers who've actually taken their vacation time to participate in the event. They don't want to do just the small tasks, but they want to be around the entire production of this Professional Bowlers Association event this weekend.
I take pride in saying that I serve my country, and I'm real happy to be surrounded by a lot of people that are doing the same thing.
How about the roller coaster ride available here at Oasis Lanes in El Paso? This beautiful 40-lane center, 64,000 square feet, just opened this past November. We are out in the West Texas town of El Paso for the El Paso Classic. Chris Barnes played a lot of basketball growing up. Perhaps that is the source of his good hands. Randy explains why his hands provide an advantage in this week's Dexter Approach.
Yeah, David, it's all about creating leverage so that your ball will hit like a ton of bricks down the lane. Check out, first things first. Fingers inside, elbow inside. Inside the bowling ball, that is. Long fingers, cupped wrist at the start. He's going to load this thing up at the top of the swing, let gravity help his arm fall to the bottom, and then he's just going to unload. And remember, because he creates all this power, listen to what it sounds like.
This week's Dexter Approach, great illustration of how the ball transition to the end of the 35-foot pattern here on the cheetah oil pattern in El Paso and zips right into that pocket. Parker Bohn III, Hall of Famer, bids for a 4-bagger and a chance for a 1-pin lead. Barnes has 3 straight strikes at the moment. It's going to be a really close finish. 10 more down for Parker Bohn.
Parker Bohn could strike all the way out and shoot 280. The best Chris Barnes can do if he strikes out is 279.
Second TV show in a row for Parker Bohn III. As you mentioned in your interview with him, a lot of confidence now. Back-to-back shows, made the final, lost to Mika Koivuniemi last week in Mesa. And you can see it sort of brimming out of him just in our interview last night. Relaxed, focused, but really confident. Will the confidence translate to big shots like that? Yes, it will.
Well, Dave, success breeds confidence.
5-bagger for Parker Bohn III.
You make enough shots like this and your ball starts to read the pattern the right way, all of a sudden, it's not like you've forgotten how to bowl or forgotten how to win. You just need to get back there. That's what Parker Bohn has done the last 2 weeks. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say the next guy that misses or that doesn't strike will lose this match.
Just gripping the edge of the channel and almost looked like it was going to zing too high when it grabbed the backside of the oil pattern. How about Bobby Stives, who happens to be the general manager of the top amateur?
30 and 60 feet.
And there is Bobby. Spoke to him this morning about his great performance. Took Walter A. Williams Jr. to 7 games, the max, and finished 18th. What a week for him. He said, yeah, I compete a few events a year, but generally I'm concentrating on my administration duties.
He shot .869 for his first 3 games in qualifying, and then he followed that up with a .290 his 4th game. Bobby, congrats. You had a great week, buddy.
8th frame. Barnes looking for a 5th straight strike. Has it!
First one that misses will lose this match, Dave.
The man who made the 7-10 in the round of 64, then picked up the big 4 in the round of 8 against Patrick Allen. Looking good.
This is a shot on the right lane. Hangs on the right edge of the gutter. Check this out. This one's a little bit left of that on the left lane. Both ending in the same result.
2 great bowlers, Randy. 34 titles between them. Who is going to blink first and not strike? You called it. I'm with you, partner. The first one not to strike could be in trouble. It's not going to be Parker here. 6 in a row. Frames 3 through 8 for Bohn the third, and a 1-pin lead.
That ball was so good, or so deep in the pocket, it split the 8-9 in half. You talk about all those titles, Dave. Parker Bohn III has 29 of them. However, Chris Barnes is about $90,000 away from earning $1 million in his career. The 2 fastest gentlemen to earn $1 million, Pete Weber, Jason Couch, they did it in 250-plus events. Chris Barnes has only bowled 151 tournaments.
253 to be exact. We saw the strike percentage. Another for Parker Bohn III, who has been red hot here in El Paso this week.
Well, it sure looks like the Parker Bohn of old with a little bit slower ball speed, doesn't it? Results are sure the same.
7 straight strikes. Now looking for number 6, foundation frame. 6 straight, it's Chris Barnes. Now 11 pins. We're going to have a very close finish. Who's it going to be to blink first? Shredding the rack. I mean, 60 feet to success for Chris Barnes. A perfect ball.
Yeah, that's his trouble lane, too. He's been real suspect on the right lane, even though he's struck all but 1 shot. Check this ball. It's left. He knows it's left. It holds line. Chris Barnes needs to strike out. If he does, he'll shoot .279 and force Parker to throw 3 in the 10th frame to win by 1 pin.
Looks for a 7-bagger. 10th frame for Barnes. We told you, folks, with this cheetah pattern, numbers are going to be sky high. We were at line. Doesn't hit the 9. A high shot.
And it looked soft immediately as it left his hand. It looked like it was soft. And what happens when you're a little soft, the ball's going to overhook, and this one goes right by the 9-pin.
Almost got the messenger to spin it over. Haven't seen the spare ball much, have we?
No, we're not going to see a whole lot of spares.
You never know. This one might be important.
He needs to strike here on the fill shot, shoot .258, force Parker Bohn to go 9 spare strike to win by 1. If Parker strikes on the first ball in the 10th, he's the winner.
Max numbers.
Much better.
He'll take it.
Thank you.
Great run for Chris Barnes. Hitting for his first title in 30 events and 6th overall in his career. He's been brilliant. Regular season matches, getting to the final. He's been outstanding. Once he gets there, he has really struck. 5-13 all-time in finals. Right now, he's only worried about somehow Parker Bohn in 3rd tripping up here. Does he have an 8-bagger in him? You bet.
Wow.
And it's over. Parker Bohn III is going to go to his 2nd consecutive tour final.
This is magnificent, Dave Ryan. As pure as he threw that. Leslie and Justin.
And we know little Brandon's cheering too.
Yeah.
No question about it. And Parker IV, who's 15, his son Evan, who lived with their mom in Nashville, Tennessee. Evan is a bowling nut, we're told. We know they're rooting Dad on as well today. From all the way across the country.
Well, it was just a great performance by Chris Barnes, so he gave Parker all he wanted. And again, on this pattern with the scores being what they were all week long, we're talking about 1 9-pin not carrying, making the difference who won and lost.
Almost help on the 7-pin there, but it won't matter. Parker Bohn the third, a 279 and 258 victory over Chris Barnes in the semi. First time ever on TV, he'll take on Robert Smith in the final. Last week, the Big Fin, Mika Koivuniemi, found gold in the desert of Arizona at the 2005 Geico Open in his semifinal against Mike Machuga. It was Mike Machuga who felt the pressure. Needing 2 strikes in the 10th, he came up empty-handed. So in the title match, Mika Koivuniemi started strong against PBA Hall of Famer Parker Bohn III, but found himself behind after 7 frames. However, a costly open in the 8th by Bohn gave the advantage to Mika. Major Mika then dominated in the 10th, striking out to win 201.96, claiming his 5th career PBA title. A charitable fellow, Mika donated $2,000 of his bonus money to the Tsunami Relief Fund. Robert Smith over Joe Ciccone, 268-247. Then moments ago, Parker Bohn III bidding for his 30th career PBA Tour title. Led by Chris Barnes, Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, our entire ESPN PBA crew. Live coverage here from El Paso, Texas, the 4th largest city in the state of Texas. Bowling fans certainly know that Parker Bohn III is a family man. Find out just how much his family means to him in this week's Miller 6-pack.
What is the smartest thing you've ever done?
I'm going to say that the smartest thing that I've ever done, honestly, was having children. I think that kids are the absolute best part of my life. And, you know, all of my kids, I love them dearly with all my heart. And I enjoy spending as much time as I can with them each and every day that I can.
All right, now, if you could have dinner with any 3 persons, living or dead, who would they be and why?
My mother, my father, and my wife. Because I believe that they're behind me 110% in anything that I do.
What is the one thing that takes your mind completely off of bowling?
I would believe it's working around the outside of my house. Bowling being an inside sport, we're indoors all the time. And when I go around to my house and I work things outside, be it in the yard, around the back in our pool area, it's just really an overwhelming, if you want to say, relief of pressure that you get built up from being inside all the time.
All right, as a child, what was your favorite toy?
Cars and trucks out in a dirt pile. I used to play that a lot and make my own road and car paths and everything else. And needless to say, I had my own little city, if you want to call it.
When you were growing up, who did you want to be?
When I was growing up, actually, the one person I wanted to be like was my dad. He was always trying to do the best he could in anything that he did. And he instilled in me being number 1 was the place to get to. And in a polite way, number 2 sucked. You know, I kind of always look at, you know, my dad strived to be the best he could in whatever it was that he did, and that's what I tried to do.
What is your favorite word and why?
It's going to be a two-word phrase.
Okay.
Try harder. And the reason I say that is because I firmly believe that if you continue to try and you never give up, try harder, you will succeed.
On the road on the PBA Tour. Don't forget, 1 Pro-Am site next week. Don Carter All-Star Lanes, Dallas West. That's the site of our big PBA event at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Time change. Make a note of it. Birmingham Open, 12:30 Eastern Time. As we wrap things up, January 30 for that event, there are 2 different Pro-Am sites. The 2 tour titles on the cheetah pattern. Pretty good in Omaha and Tucson for Smith. One of these great bowlers will earn exemption for next year. Parker Bohn III bidding for his 30th title. Robert Smith, the birthday boy, is in as well. Leading us to our Geico Direct Championship recap, Randy.
Thanks, partner. Early in match number 1, it was Robert Smith defeating Joe Ciccone by the score of 268-247. Today being Robert's birthday, looking for a little icing on the cake. Then in match number 2, it was Parker Bohn III defeating Chris Barnes by the score 279-258. Bohn staying in the zone, setting up a great championship match for the PBA El Paso Open.
And we'll start with the birthday boy, Robert Smith. So far, so good, turning 31 today for you. This cheetah pattern has done very well for you, Robert, in the past. Does it create a big advantage? You've had 2 titles so far on this pattern today for you.
You know, you get comfortable with the pattern, yeah. I mean, it allows me to throw the ball harder, which is definitely to my advantage. But, you know, I didn't go in this week looking at the pattern. I just, like I said earlier in the telecast, I just wanted to make sure I commit to my shots, do what I know what to do, and then just hope they fall down. If it comes out my way, great. If it doesn't, then, you know, at least I give it my best shot.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Parker Bohn III. Last week near Phoenix in Mesa, Arizona, made the final. And you told us last night your confidence is just overflowing. Do you have that much confidence heading into the final today against Robert Smith?
I really do. Right now, my Inferno, the flame is burning bright, and it's going to keep burning for 12 more shots. So confidence is high. I'm ready to roll.
He sounds ready, Randy. No question about it. Good final matchup today. Parker Bohn III, Robert Smith.
The keys to victory are simple. Robert Smith made 1 bad shot in his first match. You heard him say he grabbed it. He's got to do what he does best, and that's stay aggressive. Parker, keep your hand underneath it, but the big thing is right here. Believe in the changes that you've made in your physical game to get the job done.
All right, Rob. Go again. Let's do it. You know what to do.
First ever head-to-head TV matchup between Smith, Parker Bohn III, comes in a final. That's pressure.
Oh, no. What is that?
Big surprise.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
8-10 split for Robert Smith, who had some time off after his win over Joe Ciccone.
That is weird. I've never seen that before.
You know what, though?
Okay.
This is makeable, especially for Robert Smith. We've had 7-10s made. We've had big 4s made. You can make this.
Not this time. Takes out the 10.
That was weird.
Randy, I'm always interested about bowlers' psyches.
That was strange.
And their technical approach when they have the time off. Won the first semifinal match with Joe Ciccone, had some time to practice, but not on the TV pair. He's going to come back and perform, and Parker just did.
I think it's a disadvantage for Robert Smith and an advantage for Parker. Parker wins, he stays on the TV pair, and he goes right in for the championship match.
Stays hot. Strike the start for Parker Bohn III, leading us to our Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, there's really only one thing to look at, and it's this number right here. Parker Bohn is averaging a sick 250.
That'll do it. 11 match play match wins in a row for Parker Bohn III. Back to the match play around 32, 16, and 8. Those game wins straight, not matches. Carry indeed, Parker Bohn. 7-pin, tapped late, and down she goes.
He's going to get a little love here from the messenger. Watch this head pin going across. Takes out the 7. Nice early double. Keep in mind, however, though, Parker perfect through 2 frames. Robert Smith with the open. It is in the first frame. Robert Smith can strike out and still shoot 279.
I always say that if you're going to open, it should be early and not late. And Smith makes his proper adjustment on that lane. We are headed cross state. PBA Dallas Open coming your way Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 on the West Coast. Don Carter's All-Star Lanes West. Great center. Has been the host of that event for several years. You know, as a bowler, great place to be for the players, right?
It sure is. Big D. Always look forward to going down to Big D. Good stakes.
Smith down 21.
Wow, that ball's barely coming off of the spot down the lane, that friction spot. He's actually changed balls using the same ball in both lanes. Last game, he used 2 different balls. A little carry down of oil on that lane. Robert's got to be careful with his ball speed to get that ball to check off that spot.
Speaking of Dallas, Parker Bohn, as we mentioned, did make the final there a couple of years ago against Chris Barnes and lost. Steve Jarris won there last year. One of his 3 titles. A late trip on number 6 and a tip of the cap from Parker Bohn III.
Dave Ryan, I mean, sometimes as a professional, you just know when it's your time. And judging by the carry and the breaks that Parker Bohn has gotten today, along with the great shots that he's executed when he needed to, and it's hard to, it would be hard to bet against him at this point.
He said it was last night how upsetting it had been not to be on TV for that long stretch after Philly in 2003. All the way until last week. Mesa, Arizona, back-to-back shows, and now he's in the driver's seat. What a start for Parker Bohn III. 4 straight strikes, 31-pin lead. 10 strikes in his first game for Parker Bohn III. Now a 4-bagger front 4 to begin this match. Special thanks to Al Frank Catucci, the Oasis Lanes proprietor, who's hosted some good golf outings for you guys to understand. Several players, including Brian Voss, staying at his house, which is great as well. Let's check out the Uniroyal Tire Rock and Roll, Randy.
Okay, Dave, if you insist. Early in match number 1, it was Robert Smith defeating Joe Ciccone by the score. Little help from Parker's friends, taking out the late 9-pin. And that's the Uniroyal Rock and Roll. Parker Bohn's getting a lot of that stuff.
Down 31. A Maximum Bob. I like to call him Rapid Robert, too, as in Bob Feller. Another good nickname for this guy. That's a little high.
Oh,
And
don't start
6-pin.
jumping on me now. Come on, you were doing so good. Why are you jumping?
Ball reaction. And exactly where he releases on which board, a big key.
Watch how hard this ball breaks in the back part of the lane. It's breaking loose on the right lane, and he's having trouble getting it to go into the pocket or get high flush in the pocket on the left lane.
Does he ever bring the heat on the spare ball?
Re-rack. Re-rack.
And he'd love to take a little time here with a re-rack. PBA and Odor Eaters are once again giving fans a chance to win $1 million. Simply head to PBA.com, click on the Odor Eaters Split with $1 Million sweepstakes link. The grand prize is a trip for 2 to the 62nd U.S. Open presented by Odor Eaters and a chance to win $1 million. The deadline for entry this Saturday, so head to PBA.com today. Plenty of chatter there from Smith. See how far right he set up. Good look from our crew. Oh, look at that. It went to the channel. Unbelievable.
Okay, it jumps if I grab it, and it slides if I don't grab it. That makes... It's supposed to pick up.
I'm going to tell you exactly what happened right here. He's trying to get the ball to go further right
to pick up from there.
to get it to come off of that spot, to get it to pick up.
Great look from our crew. Lane level coming right at you. What an angle that was. Now it's a spare.
You just can't throw it right.
Believable.
Ball won't bounce anymore.
In a final, for that to happen.
All right, I got you.
42-pin lead. Front 4. Wow.
He's in big trouble.
It's my 3rd year doing these PBA shows on ESPN. I'm not sure I've seen one of those yet. Gutter ball and then the spare that way. It's pretty rare. Parker gets some more help. The Hall of Famer has been through so many huge matches. He's won 29 titles. He had gone 22 events without a TV show before Mesa, Arizona last week. Now back to back. been on 93 career shows, folks. He's been around, so he knows not to get too excited. And look at that. Halfway to a 300 game in the final. The front six for Parker Bohn III.
Parker Bohn knows the score. With that strike there, he is in the 240s. The best Robert Smith can shoot if he strikes out is 238.
Parker Bohn, Randy, 12th player all-time to bowl a 300 game on TV. Opening match of the 1998 ABC Masters. So it has been done by Parker on TV before in his legendary career. Folks, if you have that remote control in your hand, put it down. We might have a 300 game here. Late tap number 7 for Robert Smith. It was in a huge hole. This would be a monumental comeback to dig his way out of this deficit. Nearly impossible with the way Parker Bohn III is bowling. He's eyeing that trophy.
That one came off the spot.
Perfectly.
Nah, just made a stupid lap. Knew you couldn't go left, and you should have gone right, and you didn't do it.
February 15th of last year, Robert Smith's last win over Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the finals in Tucson, 227 to 218. Those numbers are minuscule in comparison to what we could see with Parker Bohn III. Do we have 7 in a row, Parker? Yes! As we just mentioned, he has done this before. A flashback, indeed, to the ABC Masters. 1998. 300 game, and that was it. Opening match of that event. So he's been on TV facing 12 perfect shots and a 300 game before. Has the experience. Does that help him today?
Without question.
How about another one?
Wow. Are you kidding me? Front eight for Parker Bohn. Dave Ryan, last night he told us the most important thing for Parker Bohn III was to win and get back into the Tournament of Champions.
He's pretty much got that sewn up unless there's a massive collapse here. He's on the verge of catching Pete Weber and going to 30.
Somewhere.
He is sitting pretty right now. Walter Ray Williams Jr. has had 2 chances to tie the great Earl Anthony. Unable to this point.
I knew it wasn't there.
With a win, Parker Bohn will get himself back into the Dexter Tournament of Champions and eliminate Eugene McCune.
Parker calls it an incredible honor to get to 30 titles. Robert Smith has found a proper ball reaction, however, way late.
Oh, I'm going to take myself for this one.
He's disgusted with himself because he made the wrong adjustment. He went left and tried to hook it instead of moving right and staying firm.
Robert Smith, who called the beginning of this year a disaster, getting, as he said, railed by bowlers he should have been beating regularly, gets help on the 7 there.
Finish it up.
He felt he was losing interest and passion in the game. I imagine this great week for him will help spark what could be a very good run.
You heard Robert Smith say, finish it up to Parker Bohn. He's rooting for Parker Bohn to bowl a perfect game. 4 strikes away for Parker Bohn III from perfection.
Nine in a row. And Leslie and Justin, and we know little Brandon cheering on as well. Number 16, the last time it's been done, 16th all-time in PBA Tour history. Mika Koivuniemi last season Remember that blizzard we had in Connecticut? We all barely made it there. 3 more for Parker Bohn III. He told us last night that bowling on this pattern, the cheetah patterns, like stepping up in golf, par 5, having a 50-mile-an-hour wind behind you. It's just great for scoring. Another. Parker's trying to become the first bowler ever, folks, in PBA history to throw 2 300 games on television. He's done it once before. Only 2 others have thrown a 300 game in a final. Last was Mike Albee. July of '93. 2 more left. Oh, not gonna get it. But he'll get a standing ovation.
Why'd you have to tug that one?
Career PBA win for Parker Bohn III, the Hall of Famer. And with his daddy's name on his back, little Justin, just 20 months old. Probably doesn't get much of it right now, but later on he'll watch this tape and say, hey, I was there, Dad. That's pretty cool.
Ball is going to be just a little bit inside of target and a little fast. It misses the spot down the lane. Leaves a 3-9, but what a way to get back in the TSC, winning your 30th title, shooting .288.
Robert Smith's quest for exemption for next year will continue. But a great week for the birthday boy who turns 31 today, but he couldn't award himself with a win, because the Hall of Famer Parker Bohn III was just that much better. A big win for him. 30th of his great career, a champion in Texas.
With wife Leslie, Justin, Brandon. I think, Parker, they're too young to understand exactly what's going on, but years from now, I bet they'll appreciate this. 20 of 24 strikes for you. How did it feel to be that hot?
Absolutely an incredible day. You know, you come out here, you can only dream of getting out there and throwing as many strikes as you can, and obviously dream of throwing the front 10. I wanted it to be the front 12 in a title match, but more importantly, I did grab the check. I got the trophy. 29 is gone. 30 has arrived. Thank God.
Leslie, you know a lot about bowling yourself, and you travel in the motorhome with all the gang here. What does this mean to your family?
I'm so happy that we can be here with Parker each and every week, supporting him through his struggles, and he's worked extremely hard to get this far, and I'm so proud of him.
Congratulations. Enjoy the moment, guys. What a day for the Bohn family. As Parker Bohn III takes his 30th career title, congratulations to him. Winner of the 2005 El Paso Classic. Be sure to join us again next Sunday, 1 Eastern, 10 on the West Coast, when the PBA Tour comes together for the Dallas Open. Today's event has been brought to you by ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For the entire crew, my partner, Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan reminding you that SEC Gymnastics is coming up here on ESPN. What a day for Parker Bohn III.